Hello students of standard 8th. Let's revise with the first prose, the heavenly parasol. This story demonstrates how a noble and compassionate king, Meghavahana, fights against the superstitions. He fights against human killing in the name of religion. There was once a beautiful princess called Amritaprabha in the town of Pragjyotisha. The king held Swayamvara to enable her to choose her husband. Amritaprabha chose Meghavahana, the great grandson of a former king of Kashmir. When the couple moved forward to seek the king's blessings, Meghavahana saw by his side a beautiful, dazzling white parasol with beautiful decorations that was casting its shadow over him. The king explained that it was a parasol of Varuna, the lord of the seas. It casts his shadow on only a sovereign of the whole world, and Prince Meghavahana was destined for glory and brilliance. Upon his return, the ministers of Kashmir offered Meghavahana the throne of Kashmir as they were not happy with their king. The king spent more time in prayers and neglected the affairs of the kingdom. Meghavahana became the king and proclaimed a law against the killing of living beings. He wanted to conquer other kingdoms to impose his law on them as well. Once, while on his expedition near the sea, the king told his weary army to rest in the shade of some palm groves, and he was deep in thoughts of planning to conquer the island of Lanka. All of a sudden, he heard a cry coming from a wood by the seashore. He went into the woods in the direction of the cry. He reached a temple of Chandika where some sort of human sacrifice was in progress. A man lay on the ground, his arms raised for mercy, and a menacing-looking barbarian stood over him, brandishing his sword. When the king stopped him, the barbarian fell on his knees before the king and told him that his little son was on his deathbed due to some disease. If he killed that man, the god would be pleased and would save his son's life. And if the king prevented that sacrifice, his son would die and the rest of his troop would give up their lives with him. The king offered his body to the child. When the barbarian refused to kill the king drew out his sword to strike himself. When he was about to do so, his head was covered with divine flowers of beautiful color and perfume. His arm was held by Varuna, the lord of the seas, who told him that he had created that illusionary test to test the nobility of mind of the king. He also told him that he had come there to reclaim his parasol that had been carried away from his town by the powerful Bhauma, the grandfather of Amritaprabha. King Meghavahana bowed before divine Varuna and returned the parasol. The king was bestowed with a boon that when he desired to cross the ocean to conquer the islands, Lord Varuna would pull away the water. King Meghavahana reached Lanka and won over its king Vibhishana, who is none other than the brother of Ravana, in friendship. After returning to Kashmir, he explained the full story to Amritaprabha and about the parasol and lived a very happy life. Hope you all understood the summary of this lesson. Any doubts, you can clarify with me. Thank you, children. Bye. Take care.